Right guys, so I am in Warsaw city centre this morning and the plan is to go and get a day's travel card type thing which enables me to go on the trams, the metro system and some buses. I'm going to try and do as much of that as I can. I haven't really got much of a plan other than that. So there's a metro station just behind me there. I'm going to drop down in, buy a ticket from the machine and see how we go, see what we see, and I'll report back to you later. Thanks very much for watching and enjoy the video. Warsaw's metro system presently consists of the blue line M1 running north-south and the red line M2 running east-west. And between them the track length is approximately 20 miles. I found the stations to be clean and airy, a bit like the trains themselves really, and very well looked after too. And the same could be said for the trams, which cover a far more extensive network, 82 miles to be precise. Now of course a lot of the rails run down the street, but they also run alongside the streets, often through grassy areas like this one. The first area I decided to have a look at was the Old Town, located alongside the Vistula River and meticulously rebuilt following its destruction in World War II. That's one thing about the current situation is that it's so quiet everywhere. This Old Town area of Warsaw would be absolutely heaving, I would imagine, this time of year, at this time of day. And now just take a look at it now. And there is like not many people about. I think it's fair to say. And this is a beautiful part of the city as well. Look at that, it's almost completely empty, which is great for a tourist that doesn't want to queue and hang around in big crowds and all the rest of it. And it's a little bit sad for the city as well. I would imagine every city is similarly affected. But I'm going to press on a bit. It's a lovely day for it, so I'll catch you a little bit later. See you. The Old Town is delineated by the town walls, which have also been thoughtfully restored to their present condition. It was then time to hop onto another tram. Here's one of the oldest, which dates back to the early 1970s. I walked for a while through Ogród Saski Park and onto the dramatic and thought-provoking Polin Museum of the history of the Polish Jews. Now this is a stark reminder of the terrible events that took place in the city and beyond, of course, during World War II. And then I was back on a more modern tram this time, heading for one of the main landmarks of the city. A little bit more on that in a bit. Now don't worry, I was sitting on the back of the tram at this point. Here's the view from inside, and it's obviously mandatory for everyone to be wearing face masks on public transport, as you can see here. I'd like to know what the most interesting trams you've ridden on are and where they are. I'm looking for a few more trips like this, so please leave me a comment below if you would recommend somewhere. That would be great. Okay guys, so there's one place in Warsaw that I've been wanting to go to it stands out. You can't miss it. The views from the 30th floor are fantastic. Where is it? I'm talking about the Palace of Culture and Science, and it is just behind me there. So hopefully I'm gonna go, as soon as I find the entrance, I'm gonna go in there, pay my money, go up to the 30th floor and take some great video from there. Wish me luck, and I shall see you when I get to the top. Cheers for now. Okay, so I'm going to press button 30, and apparently in 20 seconds we're going to be on floor 30 of this tower, so let's see how it goes. It's going pretty quick, to be fair. Actually quite intrigued because there's a 33 there. I wonder whether that's just 3 extra floors for the more privileged guests. Let's have a look, see what's outside. Okay, so we are quite high up actually. I'm going to shoot a bit of video just to give you an idea of the scale of it and how high we are. Enjoy this. The palace was completed in 1955 and is 778 feet high. The 30th floor viewing gallery is probably about 3/4 of the way up, I would say. It was a gift from the Soviet Union at the time and is very reminiscent of other buildings of the era, constructed in the Seven Sisters style. It reminded me of a very similar building I saw in Sofia last Christmas, mighty and imposing. Now, as you can imagine, there are far-reaching views from the palace. I was impressed by the number of interesting skyscrapers in Warsaw, made even better by some fantastic light shows at night. I went back to the hotel, then as evening began to fall I headed out onto the tram system once more, this time heading west. Now, what I would definitely recommend doing is buying a 24-hour travel pass. I was able to use this on the metro, tram and bus system, but importantly it also covered the train to and from the airport. So if you time it right, you can get a day's worth of travel for around £3. A complete bargain in my opinion. I think I rode on about 6 different types of tram during my visit. The oldest still in service, very reminiscent of the old Eastern European style. As I said earlier, they date from 1973, but it seemed to me like they were a lot older than that. There's no fancy digital displays with these older trams, just a single board in the window with the line number. It's still easy to see though, even in the dark. And after a while it was time to wrap up my tram travelling for the night and look forward to getting some well-earned rest before my flight up to Lithuania and then back home the next day. Thanks for watching this video, and please, if you like my content, I'd really appreciate a thumbs up, or maybe even a subscribe if you haven't yet done so. So until the next time guys, thanks again and cheers for now.